First, Governor Newsom sending shockwaves through the political sphere. The podcast exchange causing outrage among his own party.
You say no men in female sports.
Well, I think it's an issue of fairness. I completely agree with you on that.
Thanks for joining us here at 6. I'm Tony Lopez.
And I'm Marley Ginter. The governor breaking with Democrats on the debut episode of his new podcast, suggesting they were in the wrong by allowing transgender athletes to participate in female sports. Your reporter Madison Keevy has a breakdown of what he said and the backlash he's getting really from both parties on this one. Right, Madison?
Right, Marley, and we've heard that all day long, people coming out. You know, Governor Newsom has long been a champion for LGBTQ plus civil rights here in the state for decades, going against his own party many years ago to issue marriage licenses for same-sex couples. But as one expert put it to me today, he's now positioning himself as a new type of Democrat.
Would you do something like that? Would you say no men in female sports?
Well, I think it's an issue of fairness. I completely agree with you on that.
The governor on the debut episode of his podcast, This is Gavin Newsom, in conversation with conservative political activist Charlie Kirk.
There's also a humility and a grace, that these poor people are more likely to commit suicide, have anxiety and depression. And the way that people talk down to vulnerable communities is an issue that I have a hard time with as well. So both things I can hold in my hand.
The governor's comments getting backlash from some of the state's top Democratic leaders, like State Senator Scott Wiener, part of the LGBTQ caucus.
It was just really sad to me, and it was like a gut punch for the governor to take that position. And I hope it's a one-off, and that he quickly comes back to his roots, which is to support the LGBTQ community.
Republicans took notice of the comments too. Assemblymember Bill Asaley wrote on X, quote, "Talk is cheap," and called on Newsom to sign legislation to match. Assemblymember Kevin Kiley echoed that call, that if the governor is serious, he should sign an executive order. I took those comments to the governor's office of concerns and questions that have since come out since that podcast was released. The governor's office pointed me back to the entirety of that more than an hour-long podcast episode, saying that he is not going to weaponize this issue or turn those kids into villains.